It's actually surprising there aren't more botches. Think about it. Sure, someone might potato the hell out of someone with an errant strike, or a wrestler's dive spot could be less than smooth, but those aren't really a big deal, are they? They're certainly nowhere near as embarrassing as the flubs featured here. All of them happened on pay-per-view, and that means such mistakes were immortalized forever. So I am Gareth, this is What Culture Wrestling, and here are the 10 most embarrassing WWE botches ever. Number 10, Gene Okerlund's SummerSlam Outburst. Let's kick things off with a true classic. SummerSlam 1989's promos were pre-taped either the prior day or earlier that afternoon. Somehow, one of the WWS producers managed to slide the wrong tape in when it came time for Gene Okerlund's interview with Rick Rude and Bobby Heenan. What happened next was mortifying, to be honest. A piece of the SummerSlam promo set fell down behind the trio and gave Gino quite the fright. "F it," he shouted loudly. Then commentary pair Jesse Ventura and Tony Schiavone had to pick up the pieces and haha the hell out of a quick sell job before moving on. Vince McMahon, who was already producing a slick operation by 89, had to be tearing his finely coiffed hair out that something like this could ever happen. F it indeed. Number 9, Mandy Rose Dexit. Slipping and landing on your ass is embarrassing enough at the best of times, but it happened to poor Mandy Rose back at WrestleMania 37 in 2021. Mandy was strutting to the ring alongside Dana Brooke for a tag team turmoil bout when she slipped and took the steel ramp right on both cheeks. Rose's face said it all. She knew it was embarrassing, and she knew she still had to wrestle, then face some serious ribbing later behind the curtain. The whole thing was even more tragic because Mandy and Dana were clad in revealing outfits and had been instructed to power walk to the ring. Sex appeal was clearly on the agenda. Then poor Rose decked it and looked for all the world like she'd really rather be anywhere else afterwards. Number 8, Paul Heyman's Handcuff Woes. Paul Heyman was probably cursing the company's props department following the filming of Roman Reigns vs Kevin Owens at WWE's 2021 Royal Rumble event. At one point, Roman ended up cuffed to a bit of the lighting rig and unable to move. Heyman was supposed to swoop in, save the day, free Reigns, and that would help him win. That is not what happened though. Instead, Paul fumbled with the keys and could not release his tribal chief. So baffled referees had to stop the count and just wait. Yeah, that didn't do much for the drama of a last man standing scrap. WWE eventually got the result they wanted, but not before some real faffing about. Number 7, Steve Austin gets all tangled up. The gruff and tough Texas rattlesnake had quite the run-in with some ring ropes when his knee brace got tangled in them back at SummerSlam 1999. Triple H, who was one of Steve's rivals for the night, had to walk over and just try to help. Hilarious. This whole drama didn't do much to sell Austin's tough guy persona. Don't trust anybody? Well, Steve had no choice but to trust the game at SummerSlam 99. Otherwise, he might still be there flapping around like an upturned turtle. Number 6, Papa Shango misses his cue. Take a gander at Papa Shango's facial expression right here. He's panicking, isn't he? No wonder, because the terrifying witch doctor had missed his cue to run in during the WrestleMania 8 main event between Hulk Hogan and Sid Justice. That regrettably meant Sid had to kick out of Hulk's leg drop. Oh brother. The entrance aisle for Mania that year was long, but surely someone should have been paying attention behind the curtain and told Papa to start sprinting early? Or maybe it is just his fault entirely. So Sid kicked out of Hogan's unstoppable finish, then Shango hit the ring anyway to awkwardly trade blows with a surely irate Hulkster. Even a few short seconds made all the difference here, and they would have tanked the Mania headliner had everyone else not been on the ball. Papa Shango was never the same in the end. Number 5, Brock Lesnar's shooting star press. Brock Lesnar wowed people by successfully performing a dazzling shooting star press during developmental matches before hitting the main roster. WWE had supreme confidence in their new monster, so much so that he got the green light to use the move during the main event of WrestleMania 19. There was just one problem. Brock would have to wrestle for a good 20-ish minutes before going for the aerial spot. He'd be soaked in sweat, and the ropes he'd be relying on to maintain his balance would be slick and probably wet too. Still, Lesnar went for it, and pretty much landed on his head. Instead of nailing a spectacular spot that'd get people talking for the right reasons, Lesnar gave himself a concussion and doesn't even remember the end of the match. Great job. Number 4, the ref botches WrestleMania's finish. WrestleMania 35 was a monumental night for women's wrestling. It marked the very first time a female match was going on last on WWE's biggest annual pay-per-view. It's just a pity the finish was all sorts of messed up. The ref is to blame for that, at least partly. He counted Ronda's shoulders down during a Becky Lynch crucifix pin, even though one of them clearly popped off the canvas before the 3. Later, Rousey confessed that she was likely to blame more than the official though. She was trying to lock her shoulders against the mat, so squirmed free by mistake. Regardless, the ref took most of the heat from Vince McMahon for the incident. A historic headliner hadn't been ruined as such, but millions were talking about the botched ending on social media afterwards, and that just would not do. Number 3, Owen Hart blows his big line. Right, something does need to be said first and foremost. Owen Hart was one of the best to ever lace up a pair of damn boots. His athletic approach in ring was phenomenal, and he could work with all shapes and sizes. The guy was one of the most giving workers in WWF/WWE history too. Promo expert though? No, not quite. In fact, Owen botched one of his biggest moments at the 1994 Royal Rumble. He literally just turned heel on Brother Brett by kicking the back of his injured leg following a tag team loss, then appeared on the big screen to hammer home the point. Sadly, Owen messed it up and said, "That's why I kicked your leg out of your leg." Anchor Todd Pettingill cringed, and Hart very visibly realized he'd made a mistake. His selfish rant had merit, but the key line was totally ruined by him stumbling over his words like some overexcited kid playing tough guy pro wrestler. Number 2, Titus World Slide, baby. WWE's so-called Greatest Royal Rumble from 2018 is not remembered for the fondest reasons anyway. Braun Strowman winning a token belt meant nothing afterwards, and pretty much everything else that happened on the show has been lost to the sands of time. Well, almost everything. Titus O'Neil's entrance during the bloated 50-man Rumble went down in history. The goofy, well-meaning babyface slipped while sprinting to the ring and went for a tumble. Worse, he somehow managed to keep sliding all the way under the ring, and it's remarkable he didn't brain himself on a support beam en route. The announcers could not keep it together, which just made everything a good 30% more hilarious. WWE turned the moment into a meme overnight, of course, and Titus riffed on the botch on TV for a while afterwards. He had to be mortified by the slip though. And number 1, Vince McMahon's double muscle tear. Consider everything you know about Vince McMahon in 2023, then try to understand just how angry he must have been whilst camped on the canvas at the 2005 Royal Rumble. Things had already gone wrong before he hit the scene. John Cena and Batista had accidentally tumbled out of the ring at the exact same time, which was not the planned finish. So Vince roared through the curtain and promised to sort things out. On the way, he tore both of his quads and had to sit down on the mat as everybody wondered what in the hell was going on. McMahon had to be fuming, not least because his injury had been caused by somebody else's incompetence. Vince was carted off to hospital, Batista won as planned, and all was well that ended well. And that's our list. Know of any other embarrassing WWE botches that we've missed? Well, let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and don't forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you're down there. Also, if you like this sort of stuff, then please head on over to whatculture.com and find some more fantastic articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on. I've been the always embarrassing Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Cheers for stopping by today, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye bye!